etiefo na hwefo ma mendam ina amase enfambra e channel yiso aha any news message on notification button obetenin on na subscribe see the any update baby also unsa na hwe sabe kan wa hwe no like ma bibia aye kama etiefo e branch o mangibre ne nkotie ensem kakra ekoso
na MPP for police for Mbeto Aba 2nd December. Yes, special voting. Your police for Omo recruitment. Just Omo depot. Omo Babe police. Just a recruit for Omo Nenam and Omo Kachom says NDC ba ye be yi omedi. The person me ma omo arehemu say nya no kre. Yente say omo ba ye no ni aye recruitment. Military ni police on be pa mo nyina enti na omo adwen ye om se yen te se omo enti yen ba yeso ye be sa enti me ma omo nyina rehye se omo ayafa omo no a omo go through recruitment ye ba ye mpa mo on be to aso yeso ye be fa ye nipa na yeso ya ma omo
general where you John Domani Mahama where campaign and what other man for so recruit me a form no ba one pamomo so by inference and so recruit to be and answer will be a yafa adwuma baby if so mu nyina e Ghana for and your mama so oba be research nyesa it is oba be research there nanki e be research be nioma nsemfunu bi a yedi over the years some no okase o 1970 buzi abaye no ye fra bi Apollo 568 e dia ni Apollo 568 ni nchire mu ane se buzi abaye no wose NDC fo no ne ayi enkroma abaye no enkroma abaye mu ye enkroma yes no mo ye no mo se enkroma abaye ne di nkrofo ahye advantage positions bebre it's sabe ye no mbeba into the idea of the government into ye nipa 500 and yes 68 every mo Apollo 568 ye o mu free mo am a very popular case of Salah versus Attorney General Satan Victor Usu ya na ye Attorney General adade na di kan ye Attorney General and sana Victor Usu ba be take the case over it will be a law school be in the case of Salah versus Attorney General where there was a ruling as to whether ye can say establish the word establisher what does it even mean ewi achire no Sala ye reinstate no ma mo popular phrase bi o mo say buzi aka say no court say word no court no watena ni nyina achire say obi ba no obebu amemo opamo nkrofo bi ana jeje Rollins year 79 ku wa year 79 ku oni kofi awu no ana o mo so Tata brewery e wosika yes boachi matres wosika ye friend yes poku transport mo na omo wosika dia ene na che say asantefo no mo hye the banking sector the top echelons of the banking sector no omo na ma omo busia mo mutimi nyesika jeje Rollins ni kofi awu no omo maka nyina epamu omo nyina da banking panifo ni nyina da ompamu omo nyina da it's not why you do me I do you
exactly
ye ni ade ba ya besi se ene kufo nso ba ye no ye se ene jeje Rollins nkofo nti kufo nso be pamu bi Professor Mills by one on agreeing chile into a year, Ubahia, or my even MMC this years of Kufo 6 months
precisely.
And son who you were more. John Mahama nya to me free Professor Mills and some even Professor Mills I want any bua memukra when yan to Pamu Munyanada. I don't need to go for Koshe. A who for the buy will be here the same. And yen I say, and you do baby. One answer the reset back. Etika won reset it. Me wo ye kamobanka mo pamu mo pa ye the top economists. Say bia will be a CEO, will be a managing director, will be a destiny pamu mo. Nemo nkola na ya mo for mugumu ne de. Mo na munimti yem pamu mo. The first time in the Fourth Republic, Abaya also Obabaya reset. Wabania Fankrofo. No say by a year you can say proper governance structure and good in the spirit of good governance. As to what good governance means, I don't know. Because Constitution here very clear where the mandate of the president ends. The Constitution is very clear, unambiguous when it comes to the mandate of the president. Was it the president mandate shall end on the 7th of January? You swear another president in. So you are 7th December. The Constitution at no point says that because you are too very will now lose you cannot make recruitment or governance should come to a halt.
Exactly. So
and we are rule of law, a nation of laws. Constitution in Bokaye. I feel about John Dramani Mahama. Fameko Nyanko Domelevo letter, a young former boss, Julius Debra, a Troye. I want to say John Dramani Mahama when a scam. He's scamming the people.
Precisely so.
That. Me dem be money you. Now what the farm fully be. Now be na akola bi akojina ne nchen. Now akola na aje ni phone na say Jomama man number. Now we betimi be president without national security clearance. It's optics. You see a chance Mahama do a humble and akola no national security ni. Why? Omo de madwene dia bro. Informant nasim. O de montrase, because Jomama Yekufu ado ye. But beyond the facade, what is Jomama doing? Some so baba reset it. Whereas wo John Dramani Mahama ye to abawie ye wo lose year 2016. And I was appointed Domelevo December after 2016, 22nd or so. And I was appointed Domelevo.
Precisely so.
22nd or so now appointed NCC ne omo maka empedifo. I found Kofogu mo. Na ye to abawie na lose one year appointed obi a aka ma Domelevo o appointed Domelevo e ma ne baba ye auditor general.
Bisano.
Afi oba no kura de nya sorofo na opamo mo. And Kolana wona wo sia se wo be 24-hour economy. Exactly. Mo bia ma miafa. It is oba na Akufo Addo afa bia gumudia. The only thing you can do is that wo be bia wo economy kura na wo kan 24-hour wo be bia mu. Se be ya onkola no so be benya bia enya sa. Na 24-hour economy. Where a 19th of December 2016. Appointment of Auditor General Domelevo signed by my former boss Julius Debra. 19 December 2016, near to Obama Jomama Lusu. It is a Jomama in spirit of good governance. When you see a Troba Vienna's Lusua, Yam appoint to be a year, then you Troba annual Lusu on the 19th of December. Who Jomama who appointed Domelevo and other people.
Precisely.
So what you know, for
fire.
But maybe who through you, the people can see it.
Never.
Almost me mad ma wonya no krefo wo do mama wonya no krefo ampa wonya no krefo wakeka na nim manya mso mpa nso mu amodin die woni bi general
kakra kro ni
mu odi na nim mobomobo no mobomobo na meso wura John Dramani ma wonya no krefo na mobehunu na ache me de me ka kire mo wono na say in spirit of good governance so obi lose election ya say ni pa no we are appointed. But 19th of December 2016, we were lose election and we appointed Domelevo. And we were by several thousands of a Ghanaian youth or more year Juma. Jomama said Akufo Addo na appointed woman after so we lose. It was more conquered Nefi. The Ebusasa Sankola no free Azerbaijan and no free Kosovo and no free Burkina Faso. Omudo mi adwuma echi koto de ne bodwe nyenya nkyere nkola nkofa akuma it reset na wo ba be ye. If this is how you are going to do it, it means the vindictive nature of a yes how my we enter because what China say abai sisa MPP said you so try ye o man so me obi what you say Jomama we appointed nipa bebre after see a trouble.
Julius Pepena was the COO of MIDA, the chief executive of MIDA. He was the CEO of MIDA. MIDA is the Millennium Development Corporation. They were part of PDS. There's an American angle looking at privatizing things so that it can work efficiently. All the things that we, the capitalists, talk about, which is, in essence, might not be good for a country like Ghana. But he's very well versed in these things. Now, this is how the rat was smelt. He was COO of MIDA at the time when this conversation was happening. When Akufo Addo became president, he wasn't CEO of MIDA anymore. Now, he's been appointed as the chief executive of the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG. As soon as Mr. Julius Pepena was appointed, everybody said, wait a minute. We don't want PDS anymore. Why are they bringing Julius Pepena to ECG? Yes, a very intelligent man, but they don't want him at ECG because once he comes to ECG, privatization is going to happen. Now, let's move on with the conversation. Okay, so here's ECG MD. President John Dramani Mahama is the president and John Jinapo is the minister. Now, as soon as Mr. Mahama became president, he started complaining about power and generation and all of that. So the ECG privatization seems to be a clear agenda. Today, the Workers' Union of the ECG, the Power Union Workers Association, they are called PUWU. They went to meet with Mr. Jinapo and told him that they don't want ECG privatization. And then some of us got wind of what happened in the meeting and everything. But we also know the full story. Let's get you the full story over here. How does power get distributed in Ghana? That's very simple. So So this is the way in which power gets distributed in Ghana. So up here is the fuel supply. You can also call it the gas supply. So anybody who supplies fuel is up here. If for some reason the government of Ghana is buying fuel from you, your Allied Oil or your Fraga Oil or your Shell, you all come to fuel supply. So from fuel supply, it goes over to the generators. That is, the fuel goes into the generators. So I saw Glee Power Plant, Senate Power, Sen Power, Aska, is it Aska? Yes, ASK. Yes, all of them, they are generators, okay? So then they come to the transmitter, which is Gridco. So Gridco will then transmit, mind you, this part, this transmitter and the distribution all used to be ECG. All that used to be ECG, okay? So the generators are all of them, including VRA. VRA sits here because they also have TICO in Takrady is VRA, and some of the generators are under VRA. And then Hydro, which doesn't use fuel but it also generates, is also under VRA. Okay, so that comes to transmission. Gridco is a transmitting platform that is done, and then it goes to the distribution, and the distribution is by ECG. Comes to your house, comes to my house, goes to your former secondary school at Disadel, goes to my former secondary school Prese, goes to your grandmother in Atebubu, goes to my grandmother in Yamuase, and all of that. So this is how it works. All right. What is the government intending to do? Let's move on. So government wants to hand over billing, payment and collection to a private company. But why should we do that? I mean, why in God's name should we hand over the electricity company of Ghana's payment, collection and billing to a private company that is coming in from somewhere? It's not Ghanaian. No Ghanaian businessman is going to benefit. Just come and take over ECG, and they will go and bill. They will collect the money from us, and they will make the payment. That's it. That's all they are going to do. They are going to bring in meters and all of that. So the issue against the privatization is the government must explain what is wrong with ECG now. What is the privatization going to cure? From what the PUW are saying, the privatization is going to cure nothing. It's just going to make the lives of Ghanaians worse. For a government that has run on the back of social contract, a left-wing government comes into government and privatizes ECG. Please tell Ambassador Kwesi Pratt and the Socialist Forum that I'm going to hound them until I hear their view about this ECG privatization. Because if this was happening in MPP era, Kwesi Pratt would be on Good Morning Ghana and said that we will never allow the privatization of ECG. He would have said it. Today, his daughter is in the office of the vice president. Government wants to privatize ECG. Kwesi Pratt says he hasn't heard it. Kwesi Pratt has not heard that the government of the NDC wants to privatize ECG. I have been following Kwesi Pratt for 25 years. He's a socialist. He's against privatization. And I'm telling you that if this was MPP, you come on Good Morning Ghana, he can even come on Good Evening Ghana. We will not allow the privatization of the ECG by the government. The workers of this country are going to rise up against it. That's what Kwesi Pratt would have said. Today, we have not heard him. We have not heard anything from Kwesi Pratt. Electricity Company of Ghana is being privatized. Socialist Forum says they haven't heard it. We have heard it, and we are going to say what we have to say. All right. So, but didn't ECG try to resolve revenue losses with loss reduction project in 2022, 23, and 24? All right. This is the catch on this one. So ECG was getting losses, and then they decided that they were going to have a loss reduction project. There's a young man there who was doing very well. Incidentally, his name is Mahama. The guy who was at ECG, his surname is Mahama. I've forgotten his first name. But in during his time, they did this. Okay, what did this achieve? From the records that we have seen, this was a policy to decide that meters is a big part of the ECG conversation. So they wanted the meters to be manufactured in Ghana so that it cuts off a lot of the cost. So they brought a policy where if you want to do meters for ECG, you have to have a company domiciled in Ghana, and then you manufacture it from Ghana. And then when you manufacture it, ECG gives you an area, say Teshite Bibiano, where I live. So you go to Teshite Bibiano, and then you go and install your meters. When the ECG recognizes within a number of days, month, that Teshite Bibiano revenue has increased, then they now believe that the meters that you supplied is the reason for the increase in revenue. It is then that they begin to pay you. Now, this process, do we have the figures? Yes, this process led to an increase in revenue of about $1 billion, showing a jump from 500 million per month, one single month, to 1.5 billion in revenue for ECG. Viewers, look at this. This is correct. This is happening. that the revenue losses about getting meters to occur here, getting meters to be manufactured here, gave a revenue jump from 500 million to 1.5 billion, almost a 1 billion jump. The PURC says that this could be better. PURC says that based on this arrangement that ECG brought up, they should have been picking up 2 billion instead of 1.5 billion. They found out, however, that the shortfall is as a result of government agencies that don't remit ECG the way they have to. So ministries don't pay, some university, secondary school, etc., etc. In any case, this brought 1.5 billion. So this looked like a policy that they should continue. Now, there's something interesting going on here that you have to see. There's something very interesting going on here that is also bringing the smelling of the rat. This document I have here shows that the demand-supply balance and fuel requirements to mitigate deficits. So it's about fuel requirements. How much fuel do we need? In December 2024, the NPP government's handing over notes said that generally in total, all over the country, we are consuming at peak time 3,953 megawatts of power. That's what we are consuming in December, as according to the document. We have been told by the Minister for Energy that our consumption is something in the region of 4,400. The question that we might use an RTI to ask the Minister for Energy is that what happened? Why is the 3,953 megawatts wrong, as was projected by Akufo-Addo's government in their handing over notes? How did we jump from 3,953 to 4,400? Now, viewers, do you know why that is important? That's important because the minister is telling us that he's going to take our taxpayers' money to import fuel so that we don't have doomso. And he's importing fuel, according to the Honorable Jinapo, he's importing fuel for 4,400. But the cost, the megawatts that we have is 3,953. So why is he importing fuel for 400 megawatts more? That's a conversation we need to ask him. Do you know what the industry experts are telling us? The industry experts are telling us that is something that is as they say, is, I don't know what word to use. But you are supposed to import fuel for 3,953. If the government imports fuel for 4,400, there's some fuel there that the 3,900 doesn't need. What's going to happen to that fuel which has been bought by taxpayers' money? Now, that's a lot of fuel. It's not like my Hyundai car or your Toyota car. No. It's proper fuel, plenty. They are talking about megawatts for electricity generation. So 400 megawatts of fuel needed for 400 can fill your tank, my tank, for 10 years. So it's a lot of fuel. Your taxpayers' money is going to buy it. The minister comes and says, we are going to buy for 4,400. And journalists are not asking that, wait a minute. NPP said 3,953. When did we move from December to January that we are now consuming more? The Honorable Minister Jinapo said so. He has to come and say how he came by the 4,400. All right, so this is just to show you that we are getting concerned about something. Now, we are suspecting that the PDS arrangement is going to come back. That's the same arrangement. It's going to come back. And we are worried about it because this PDS thing is very dangerous. And the NDC campaigned that the MPP should have kept the PDS. I don't know whether people remember when they call it PDS scandal. The PDS scandal was that government said we cannot go on this PDS thing. These people are bringing some insurance that is questionable. I don't want to say much about that because it's before an arbitration panel. The PDS have sued and the ECG are with them in an arbitration panel. The government of Akufo-Addo strenuously argued that the insurance something, I don't want to say it because it's before an arbitration, that insurance something should be looked at. I'm just using mild words. And so that's before arbitration. Now we get the sense that this whole arrangement is just a way that NDC is back to power, so PDS back. What is PDS? Get some friends of the big politicians, bring them in. They have formed a company called PDS. The company doesn't have a leg in Sudan and doesn't have an arm anywhere, but they form it anyway. They come, ECG signs a contract with them. They take over everything ECG, and they say they are doing billing, collection, and repayments. They will be given a sum of money. And then they are gone away. They share with the politicians. And that's what they call corruption. Corruption in high places. Corruption without tears. Corruption with tears. That's what it is. There's nothing more, nothing less. This is what it is. What is standing at ECG that as soon as the government arrives, the first pronouncements they are making, we are going to sell ECG. Where is the crisis?